I'm Mark.
I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of August 31st, 2016. Will be forever known as the smallest new comic book day of the last decade. Not a whole lot out this week, but we have some suggestions on what you can do at your local comic shop if you don't see your favorite titles. And just an FYI, there are no Rebirth titles this week, but that shouldn't stop you from coming in, because there is some good stuff that hit the shelves that you don't want to miss. And as I said, we'll go through kind of our top 5 things that you can do during a light week at the comic shop. My pick this week is Amazing Spider-Man number 17, written by Dan Slott, artwork by R.B. Silva. This is part 2 of Before Dead No More, which leads into Dead No More. Part 1 was number 16, and Josh spoke about that last month. It was actually Alex's pick of the week here in the shop, and I didn't even read it when it came out. So I'm kind of jumping ahead, but one of the things you can do on a light comic week is to pick up something that you skipped over in previous weeks. I didn't read Amazing Spider-Man 16 the week it came out because there was a ton of stuff that came out, and it was one I felt I could pass on. But when I saw that 17 came out, remember that Josh and Alex both liked the previous issue, I decided to read 16, and I'm very glad I did. It's a great entry point if you're looking to get into Spider-Man. You get caught up on that first page, and as I said, it's the lead-in to a big storyline that Dan Slott is writing. And let's go back and talk about Dan Slott for a second, because we got a question not too long ago from someone asking, where do you start with Dan Slott's Spider-Man? The easiest place to start is the collection called Big Time. That's actually that's the beginning of his run. But there are several other entry points if you don't want to go there. However, it is the best place to start. It establishes Spidey's supporting cast, a bunch of new characters that we had never seen before. It gets Peter out of the I never have a steady job mode, and he uses his brain that he's known for. So pick up Big Time if you're interested in checking out Dan Slott, the beginning of Dan Slott's run, which is epic, by the way. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's been writing Spider-Man for what? 7 years, 8 years?
That seems possible.
It's been a while.
Well, and almost all of that is twice a month shipping too,
right.
So it's a lot of issues.
And it's good stuff. The next logical point would be Spider Island, which was a great Spider-Man event, was going on at the same time as one of the other big Marvel events, but features a lot of the Marvel Universe, was a really great storyline. Or if you're just getting into Spider-Man, pick up issue 16 of Amazing Spider-Man. It's a great place to jump in. And the Jackal is back. Miles Warren, and a lot of this hasn't been explained yet, so that's part of the allure is, how is Slott going to explain this? The Jackal is back, and he's resurrecting dead foes of Spider-Man. So the Rhino is dead, Kirk Connors is dead, the Lizard, several others, and we've been led to believe that some of Spider-Man's allies may be brought back as well somewhere in this Dead No More storyline. So it's just really, really good. I can't say anything more. Did you read 17?
I did. It was great.
Yeah.
My pick of the week this week is All New Wolverine Annual number 1. This is written by Tom Taylor with art by Marcio Takara. And just like every issue of All New Wolverine, it is amazing. This time around, it's actually sort of, as an annual, like a lot of annuals are, it's not following the current storyline distinctly. It actually tells you at the beginning that it happens before Civil War II, which is what's currently waving through All New Wolverine. But we get a body swap, Freaky Friday situation with Wolverine X-23, Laura Kinney, and with Spider-Gwen from her own reality, Gwen Stacy with spider powers, and it's amazing. It's hilarious, it's fun, it's everything I want a comic book to be, and you can probably read it without reading the regular book, so just pick it up and check it out, but you should be reading the regular book, because Tom Taylor is writing an amazing, fun, legendary Wolverine story, even if Logan is barely in it.
Yeah, that's another one. I mean, a lot of people are kind of stuck in their ways of buying Batman, buying Spider-Man, buying whatever. This all-new Wolverine, the Laura Kinney Wolverine, is a great character. She's in all-new X-Men. She's got her own series. Spider-Gwen is another one that really caught on with some people, but not as many people as it should be. So this is a good opportunity to pick up a book that has both of them in it and that other short person. Next up for me, it's a Spider-Man kind of week, is Spider-Man number 7. This is the Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is branded a Civil War tie-in, and kind of is. So Miles has been given the opportunity through the Inhuman Ulysses to share his vision of the Hulk basically going on a rampage and destroying the Marvel heroes. So this takes place before the current issue of Civil War. It doesn't say that anywhere, but it does. And this is how Miles deals with the question or the request that he's gotten from Tony Stark of, are you with us or are you not? And for a teenager that hasn't had his powers that long, it just became an Avenger, is dealing with high school and all the pressure and dating and all the stuff that goes along with it, he's stuck with this huge decision of whose side am I on? And that's what a lot of the issue is about. And he gets to talk to, what's her face? Boom Boom. No, what's her name?
Bombshell?
Bombshell,
maybe?
yes.
The girl that blows stuff up.
Who is essentially Boom Boom.
Yeah. Is she in our universe?
Apparently the whole universe is in our universe.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Because before that, she was Ultimate, right? I'm not crazy? She wasn't in our universe.
She and her mom, they were bank robbers.
Right.
They were evil, and then she turned good.
She was on the Ultimates with them.
Yeah. So this is written by Brian Michael Bendis, which I haven't mentioned yet, and artwork by Sonny Leone, by
Sonny Bono?
Nico Leon. It's just a great example of Bendis writing great dialogue. There's not a lot of action in this issue. There is, but it takes place in the background. But it's great writing. It's great dialogue. It's great angst. Getting to kind of experience what Miles is going through and how difficult a decision this is for him. So really, really dug it.
Yes, and though it is a short week, that doesn't mean it's not a great week. There were so many awesome books. I'm just going to hit a couple quick ones. Miss Marvel number 10 continues Civil War. Much like Miles Morales is dealing with his relationship with Tony Stark and its ramifications on Civil War, Miss Marvel is dealing with her relationship with Carol Danvers and possibly having a philosophical difference. If you are reading Miss Marvel or have read Miss Marvel, this is a do not miss issue. There's some really great emotional character building stuff. It's awesome. Awesome. Saga is back this week. Issue 37 is the start of a new arc called The War on Fang, and we get to see some actual war level stuff, and as always, Saga is awesome. Starting this week from IDW, we get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe. This is sort of a companion Turtles title that I really dug. You've got a lead story with all the Turtles and April and Baxter Stockman and all sorts of people. But then you've also got a backup story following Leonardo. They're both going to continue into the next issue. And it's Turtles being ninjas and stuff. And if you like the dulcet tones of John Barrowman's voice, you should check out Arrow the Dark Archer. This is a whole graphic novel, all done in one story, set between seasons 3 and 4 of the hit CW TV series, and written by John Barrowman and Carol Barrowman. You may remember John Barrowman as the actor who plays Malcolm Merlyn. He plays Merlin the Wizard in the King Arthur story. And yes, it's great.
For Arrow fans, it's a must buy. All right, so as we said, there wasn't a whole lot to dive into this week, so we're gonna go back to something that, because you demanded it, a top 5 list this week. And I've already this is the top 5 things you can do when it's a light week at the comic shop. And my first recommendation was to go back and pick up an issue that you passed on because you had a heavy week in the past. Now I feel like I'm talking about feminine hygiene products. So, yes, that's just me.
And after that, you can go horseback.
I had a lot of coffee this morning.
Coffee.
Yes. So that's my suggestion. As I did, I picked up Amazing Spider-Man 16 so that I could read 17, and was very glad that I did. So go back and pick up something that you skipped over, and you'll probably enjoy.
My pick for what to do when it's a light week in comics is to make sure you never have another light week again by picking up the previews catalog. There are 600 pages in here of comics and comics-related memorabilia. I promise you, if you go through this, you will see things you want, and it will be much more difficult for you to have a light week in the future. Amazing titles that maybe nobody else has heard of. Heck, we go through this every month, and there's probably still dozens of publishers we couldn't name, and there's always great talent coming up from somewhere. Find them before they get to Marvel and DC. and experience the true breadth of the comics hobby.
And it is a previews week, so the new catalog did drop this week. Good opportunity to pick that up. Also, it helps your local comic shop make sure that they have exactly what you're looking for. Never assume that your comic shop is going to order everything, because it's impossible. There is no store in the country that orders everything in the previous catalog or orders every title that's in there. So don't assume that we're going to have it. You need to tell us that you want it. There are certain things that have a track record, and yeah, we know we need to order Spider-Man. We know we need to order TMNT. We don't know we need to order the new title from Vertigo. So, let us know. Help us out. The third tip for things you can do when it's a light week at the comic shop is to pick up the first volume of a trade. Lots of $9.99 trades are sitting around out there from Image and IDW and Valiant and Boom and all kinds of publishers that maybe you're not familiar with. There also is the awesome Image First book that's available, Volume 1 and 2, which each volume gives you 9 number 1 issues for the low price of $5.99. There's also an Oni volume that has their first issues, and Dark Horse just announced last week that they are doing their own version of it, which will be out in the fall. So I think those are great tools for retailers. Number one, that we can pass off to somebody and say, hey, you don't know what you're looking for? Try this. You get to sample a whole bunch for not a lot. Also for readers, you get to try a whole bunch of comics for not a lot of money. So there's my tip. Pick up a low-cost trade and dive into some new stuff.
And my next one is actually a combination of two of Mark's, and that is go back and finish that series you kind of fell off of. For example, Why the Last Man, or maybe Chew. You made it through and you loved several volumes, but when you're following something in trade, sometimes it's easy to miss one and then you're behind. It's a light week. Grab one and get back in and remember why you loved it in the first place.
And I'm kind of torn on this last one because I'm thinking of two, but I'll go with one. Many stores carry back issues, so that would be older comics. In some cases, it's comics that came out a year ago. In other cases, it's comics that came out 40 years ago. But dive into the back issue boxes. You never know what you might find that might be something that you had a great time reading when you were younger. Maybe something where the cover artwork really impresses you. It doesn't have to be a $500 key appearance of someone. Can just be a regular $2 or $3 back issue that maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of. One of my favorite issues is a Fantastic Four issue, 260 something, 280 something. It's cheap as all get out. Every time a collection of old Marvel stuff from the 80s comes in, that issue's in there. It's worthless, but it means something to me because it had an emotional impact on me when I read it as a kid. So dive into the back issue bins and pick up some back issues. You never know what you might find.
Yeah, and if you dream of writing comics yourself someday, don't kid yourself. Mark Waid and Dan Slott and Brian Bendis dug through the back issues for decades. You don't write a complex story like this Spider-Man story using people from all eras without having an innate knowledge, not innate necessarily, but an intimate knowledge of the universe.
Some of the best writers in comics today are comic fans like you and I, and they've been reading comics for many, many years. So the new stuff is great, don't get us wrong. We want you to buy new comics, but sometimes you can find some gems digging through the back issue bins. So there you have it. Light week, but we've given you some suggestions on what you can do to make it still an awesome week for you. If you are local, I think this will be up in time. We do have our Ladies' Night event coming up this Friday. That would be September 2nd from 6:30 until 8. We have a panel of ladies that will be sharing their experience of how they got into comics and their recommended reading. We're going to be serving wine and mini desserts. We'll have goodie bags and sales. So this is for women only. There is no age restriction though. So if you're a mom and you have a daughter, if you want to bring your younger sister, feel free to bring them into the comic shop and be pampered and find out what comics you should be reading, or how to get into comics. So that's this Friday, September 2nd. Also coming up very soon is Geek Trivia out at Vino Bellissimo. We'll be doing that on Tuesday, September 13th, but we need you to register. We need to know how many people are going to be there, how many teams we're going to have. You need to email Alex, and we'll put that in the comments below. You can email Alex with if you're coming by yourself, we'll put you on a team, but we're looking for teams of 4 to 6 players. Get your team together, come out to Geek Trivia. We'll have some fantabulous prizes, and it'll be all kinds of fun. That's Tuesday, September 13th. Any final thoughts?
No.
Let's go sell some comics. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.